Today is August 4th, 2026. My name is Charles Suter. Today I'm going to be presenting part 2 of my series, Quitting, with a focus on making the decision. Now, previously, in part 1, I spoke about this reference to this subject series, The Art of Quitting by Evan Harris. His book is focused on how to quit. My series is focused right now on how to make an intelligent decision. My main message: quitting is leaving what was to make room for what can be. I have a reference diagram here which I will explain in a few minutes after I give you some background information. Nowadays, enlightened people are no longer intimidated by the social stigma for quitting when the going gets tough, if it's done for a good reason. The defense for quitting is having a better reason for quitting than enduring the status quo. Quitting for good reason is the right thing to do, and people do it all the time as they gain new experiences and insights. To move towards your ideal self, your purpose, your destiny, you must continually abandon the old and replace it with the new. Quitting is never good or bad, however, thinking makes it so. Life is full of change and uncertainty. When your circumstances or experience change, you must respond with changes to your own life. New information and learning better ways will cause you to consider your previous choices. Any improvement you want to make to your life will require you to abandon something old for something new. Change and abandonment is just another word for quitting. Both are good and bad. They're both good and bad reasons for quitting, and the only way to rationally decide how you want to spend your limited time and effort is to make a rational decision. Change and quitting should always be for good, sound, rational reasons, at least for the most important aspects of your life. Proposition 1. Again, this is an overview of the decision to quit. Quitting depends on a decision, a method for quitting, and then it's executed. It's basically a package deal. Now, the major consideration for quitting or not quitting, or quitting soon and quitting too late, is itself an important decision. Quitting, changing, is a matter of deciding whether a new path or opportunity is better than the old. Quitting for the wrong reasons is never a good idea. Of course, when you're starting to change, you don't know whether your idea is good or bad. That's why you have to think about it. If you choose to abandon anything you spend time and effort on, it should be for good, sound, rational reasons, at least for the important aspects of your life. For trivial matters, you can change your mind as often as you want, with little or no consequence. Who cares if you suddenly acquire a preference for chocolate ice cream rather than vanilla? But major changes, such as quitting a marriage, a career or a job, or your religion, should come at the end of a serious, deliberate soul-searching. Proposition 2. Again, I want to emphasize, if you're going to quit, make sure you quit for good reasons. Sometimes people just get off on the wrong path. However, they hesitate to change course. They're locked into the status quo and fearful of change. If you're uncertain of making the right choice, it's probably because there's a lot of uncertainty. You're not sure whether you should or you shouldn't. To overcome this impediment to change, you have to spend time agonizing over the right decision. It's the only way to really decide. The key elements of quitting, as I repeat, is why, when, and how. The decision to quit needs to be a package deal because, one point of failure in either the why, when, or how can cause problems and years of regret. Never quit without a good defensible reason, and never quit unless you have a replacement for whatever it is that you're quitting. Always move from worse to good. Quit to do something better. Always be prepared to explain your decision to your significant others without a sense of defensiveness. Be a champion of your own changes and committed to them. If you're wishy about the decision, you are not ready to quit. Proposition 3. Quitting one thing for another is a decision. Now, I want to emphasize decision must be something that is based on sound principles. You're going to look at the pros of quitting. What are the arguments for quitting? Again, another word for quitting is change. What's the gain? The cons. What are the arguments for not quitting, or otherwise no change? What's the loss? Every change that's important is because it has high consequences in both rewards and costs. And these decisions should be made rationally and never impulsively. The right decision will depend upon the pros and cons, both short and long term, and also the difficulty of implementation. Change is not always easy. The figure above serves as a point of reference. It simply compares the most important pros and cons of quitting one thing for another. So please refer to the figure above. Notice on one axis we have the expected rewards of quitting, high and low. And on the horizontal axis we have the expected rewards for not quitting, low and high. The simple guidelines for quitting are these. A. Quit when an opportunity offers more benefits and less costs than the status quo. That would be this quadrant here. Expected rewards for quitting is high, and the cost of not quitting is low. Quit. If the opposite is true, then don't quit. It should be a clear-cut decision where the major benefits lie. B. When the consequences are low, whatever you choose really doesn't matter. So break the tie with a coin flip. This is the case here where the consequences are low either way. It's just like chocolate or vanilla ice cream. It doesn't matter. This will be the cell of the highest deliberation. When the expected rewards for quitting are high and the expected rewards for not quitting are also high. You're going to college, it's a tough climb. You're considering joining the Marines. The rewards are high. They'll make a man out of you. It's a tough decision. How do you decide? Unless you have a clear, insightful reason for change, stay the course. Don't quit. However, you have a need to expand your horizons, then take an extended break to explore them. Only if the short adventure is truly compelling should you quit. Otherwise, why quit from the familiar to the unfamiliar? Tough choices depend upon whether you're a seeker or a settler at heart. So, my main message now is quit a losing cause and seek a winning one. And what's losing and what winning is simply a matter of opinion. And it's your opinion that counts. To grow and develop requires the abandonment of the old for the new. Change and abandonment are just different words for quitting. Always be prepared to quit for good reasons that you can logically explain to others who are going to ask, why did you quit? If you can give them a coherent explanation other than, I couldn't take it anymore, then you're ready to change. However, before you reach the end of your limit, start searching for something better to quit for. After you decide to quit and switch to something better, the next step is to decide when and how. I'm going to give a future presentation to discuss how to quit and transition to whatever you decide is a better replacement. But your prime motive should always be towards something better and away from something worse. Well, that's all for now. Remember to stay positive. You'll be happier, healthier, and live longer.